Hi, welcome to Dig Deeper, which is my new series explaining some of the lyrical content and thematic content to all of the songs on my new album, which is called I Will Be Free, available on all streaming platforms, but you should probably buy it from Bandcamp. I'm taking this step because some people have had some issues with my lyrical content, just assuming that they're about these kind of like mundane person-to-person relationships, which is what I feel like 98% of music is about falling in love, falling out of love, pining for a girl or a guy, whatever it may be. And I personally find this not only very limiting, but just not something that needs to be discussed any further. One of the things about pop music and trying to be original and creative is that in a limited system such as Western music is technically, so many of these combinations of chords and melodies have been tried and executed hundreds, thousands of times, and it doesn't leave you a lot of space to come up with something new. So over the course of time, and there's other issues involved with this, but I feel like the smaller and smaller soundbite, the catchiness of a soundbite becomes shorter and smaller and less discerning, I would say. Less of a work of art as opposed to something quirky that just becomes like an earworm and sticks in your head. So within that limitation, to take your lyrics and really confine it to this, again, limited scope of only talking about relationships, then you're stuck, and you're really fighting this kind of uphill battle against tradition and like a listening malaise, if you will. So in my case, I've definitely written love songs in the past, although I tend to write more of like breakup songs, and it's kind of my way to get back at a person by writing some sardonic song about them, which isn't really the highest perspective, I've learned over the years. One thing that I realized was the thing that really motivates me and causes me some level of frustration because I don't have a great outlet for it is some of my socio-political ideas, basically relating to injustice, kind of oppressive, tyrannical forces dictating your life. I'm a person who's very, especially lately, become really fixated on freedom, especially personal freedom. And now, we're living in this time, and it's just become this completely new thing where I think a lot of people are discovering that personal freedom is really what it's all about. And the thing, what you hear a lot in the liberty movement is that, if you give up freedom for safety, you deserve neither, I think is the quote. And this is something I've really been focusing on a lot. So, which leads me to why I love to, be a musician, is because that when you're actually writing a song and you're writing your song, despite the fact that are definitely like limiting factors, you are in a sense the freest that you will ever be. Creation is freedom. Now what happens after the creation and all that stuff is a whole nother level, but while you're in that creative moment, it's the most free you can be, at least in my experience. I'm artistic in general, so I would tend to look at it in that direction, and some people may find that same thing in their occupation. But again, if you have an occupation where you're creative, that's where you would get that experience, and creation being the most godly that we can be as well, on a spiritual level. So to me, this kind of freedom and creativity and godliness all kind of roll into one. So what I really tried to do was create music that was, the best way I could describe it is cathartic for me, is to kind of expunge these feelings and thoughts and narratives that are kind of rolling around in my head, and putting them on paper. I still like to use paper. So one of the things that leads me to doing this series is because this album like most of my other music, is about these socio-economic, political narratives that I kind of have bottled up inside me, and there's a sense of catharsis when I can put it out and get it onto paper and share it. It's, I know I'm not a huge, I don't have a lot of people to bounce these ideas off of. I'm kind of living in an isolated place, and not everybody kind of sees it the way I do. So for me, such a unique opportunity to be able to put that stuff down and create around it and do something which is unique to me. And that's why I started this series, is because I really wanted to get in a little deeper into the explanations of each song. Because if you're just looking at the lyrics and listening to it, you may not grasp the total concept, because I like to use a little, it's not necessarily sleight of hand, but you're not being overly literal about everything. There is a little bit of mystery in symbolism and wordplay and that sort of thing. So I wanted to take this time to kind of go through each song and explain the best that I could to you what these songs are about, and hopefully you find another level of meaning in the music.